What's up? What's up? I'm gonna give everybody a couple minutes to get in here. First off, I've been messing around with this the fixed volume profile range. I'm not really gonna use it yet to trade off of it. More still a study because I haven't used it, back tested it, and it hasn't really proven to me that I'm using it correctly or that I would like to incorporate it in my style. But I know, again, forgive me, those of you who are versed with this, I kind of started tinkering around with it. I saw this imbalance. I actually had this plotted before I put the VPR on, and I noticed that this low volume area within the value area. I'm pretty sure. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of people use these as areas they would look for a reversal or a mitigation. But it's interesting how it lined up with that imbalance. It's very inefficient price action right now, right there. And that's what the term I'm pretty sure people use is inefficient price action for this strategy. So this morning, we kind of have a little bit of a weird divergence with NOS and ES. Now, with this gap like that, after the news yesterday and GDP was bad, originally we'd wanted to draw up into this. We came into the market with a bullish daily bias on Monday, which the daily bias was correct. We didn't meet to our target, which, it's okay. But now that I see that we're gapping down like this, it's pretty clear to me that ES is drawing towards this low overall. Not saying we have to hit that today or anything, but it seems like that is the draw on the daily chart right now. And this agrees a little bit more with the weekly chart. We have this pretty bearish impulse swing range where we came back to a premium, took out the equal highs, and after that you would look to seek external liquidity. So it seems like the overall bearish momentum may be kind of in charge right now, if you will. So whenever we have a large range like this, always look for at least one side of liquidity to be taken. Once we form a massive range like this, you could play the internal liquidity, target the external, go with order flow because it's obviously pretty bearish, and then target the sell side. If you look, price did not come to a premium though. Let me see. I'm going to draw this volume profile range on. Look at that right there. Up in these imbalances. Where is the imbalance exactly? Seems like there's one. This has already been dug into a little bit. I'm sure if we go to like a 5-minute, we can refine it. Actually, not really. This one's not as clean as NOS. That's honestly, in my opinion, that's kind of been recently in entirety that ES hasn't been as clean as NOS, but I might be biased because I like trading NOS. But I see that zone right there as some form of interest because it's the last bit of now if we move this range, this is our range now, and it's really the last bit of internal liquidity at a premium. If we're looking for price to deliver into these lows, we could see these early shorts stopped out, come back and mitigate these orders within this fair value gap, and then proceed down to the draw. Again, that's a stretch, to say we're going to go all the way up here. But if we did go up there, that would be optimal entries for sales if market structure agreed. So this morning on NASDAQ, what I saw was a nice little power of 3 on the lower time frames is what I'm anticipating. We'll see if it plays out. Or you could say market maker buy. But what I saw was an accumulation of orders above the sell side liquidity over here. So if you're thinking like, a market maker, well, after a massive dump like that, a lot of people try to buy the dip. Well, where's their stop loss going to be? Right there. Pretty easy one, if you ask me. You never want to have your stops at such an obvious area. So, after we come under that low, and back to the accumulation theory, we look at this as orders accumulating on top of this, as in the fact that people are trying to buy support. There's a lot of people looking to go long in the morning. And we got a little bit of momentum, manipulated some buyers, and then we come under that level. So this is what we would look at as manipulation. So in this process, we come out under those old lows, and we see a nice displacement upside. Shifted market structure with displacement, price returns the fair value gap, and then we start to see orders being distributed up to breakout buyers moving to the upside. Or if we see shorts get stopped out. Now, ideally, what I would like to see is a push up to this set of equal highs, the lower time frame, and it's also a 15-minute fair value gap. Now, really, you could come just up to here or nothing at all. It looks pretty weak here. This is kind of just, it's counter daily bias because ES does look like it wants that low. So, you know, it's kind of a lower probability that it will run farther, you know, because this distribution, a lot of people, when you draw it, it does always look higher. And a lot of times it takes out the accumulated liquidity up here, but sometimes it doesn't make it all the way up there. And it does come back into the range like we see here. It's the lunchtime too, so we're probably going to see a little bit of liquidity build up within this period, or we might get a massive move. Who knows? Lunch has been pretty crazy lately. But another thing too with this setup is the time that it happened at. Ideally, you want to see this setup happen around 10 a.m., 10 to 10:30 most of the time. I mean, the setup is there. If you're playing, it was counter daily bias. If you're taking into account that ES has that daily low right there. Well, NOS did take it out, the daily, this low over here. Yeah, it's could be, you know, drag it down. We see it push down into this area. Because overall, I mean, after that kind of displacement on the downside, you know, and us reacting this morning this way, seems like the higher time frames are in effect, and we might just be drawing towards the major sell side liquidity at the very low. Because we look at the overall range, you know, we definitely have came back into a premium. We definitely have mitigated internal liquidity. So that would seek us to look for external liquidity with the institutional structure, which obviously has been down. Overall order flow is still bearish through all of this, right? There's nothing been changed. And I think everybody kind of knows that. So look at crypto. I actually have not even opened a chart today. I think crypto is wanting this low over here. I could be wrong, but that's kind of what I'm looking for in crypto. Under that area would be potential longs, but again, we just want to make sure that the price action is agreeing with that. You don't want to just force a long narrative until you have one, because it very well could not play out. So on the daily chart, I mean, again, the daily chart, this impulse move we have right here, while there is some, that unmitigated imbalance up here, price is just still showing that it's drawing down. So when we've got this massive liquidity pool here, you know, if anything, I think it would be better to wait for a good short entry and then, you know, target that. Honestly, Bitcoin 8:30 a.m. entry would have been pretty fucking nice right there. I mean, the entry itself, actually, I mean, you could look at it. I don't know if I would have played that. That's another reason why I don't really day trade Bitcoin as much, because it's a little sloppy. I mean, in hindsight, it's easy to, actually, it didn't even take that low. Never mind. Yeah, I definitely want to play that. In hindsight, it's always easy to see potential entries, but when you're watching it, it kind of, for me, I don't really like the lower time frame price action. But overall, I'd like to see a little push up, at least on indices. I guess one could have looked at a breaker entry maybe, or something like that. Oh yeah, that would have been nice on the 5-minute. And that's another thing with crypto. I've noticed that trading the 5-minute oftentimes is a little bit better. So once price took those stops, price moved down under it, waited for it to come back up into that breaker, That would have been the better opportunity. And I don't really trade breakers too much. Didn't come up to the body. I've never really been a big breaker guy. They do work nice, and I've been back testing them and seeing some nice setups based around them, but uh, I have yet to really implement them in a strategy. Profit taking coming into lunch. Yeah, see, I didn't. The breaker move, I can't say I would even caught it had I been watching. What's NQ doing? Yeah, not showing much strength, to be honest. And again, I think the reason for that is that ES is just so close to this low. So that's just acting as a magnet right now on price. This morning's price action wasn't really the greatest either, in my opinion, especially this chop right here. What's DXY doing? I haven't looked at DXY much today either. It's not showing much sign of letting up. I think this is all at some point. I mean, call me crazy, but I think all this is going to get cleared at some point. Now, that's could be far off, but and a lot of times too, we don't have the best days after some volatile news. You'll just see some chop around, and then not really any great entries.
I was thinking that we drop base trap.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I think the best entry on indices, I was looking at this. This right here was the entry this morning. And I've been noticing that, like, I might start trading more pre-market because I've noticed 2 times this week the entries were pre-market. Like Monday and then today, like the entry was definitely pre-market in my opinion. Like that was as clean as could be. That it's right after 8:30 volume spike too.
Yeah, Monday was good.
Can't really say I gave an entry though, to be quite honest. On the 1 minute. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have caught that unless you just marketed on the displacement break. I think Monday, a lot of times too, you'll see a better entry pre-market because the overall purpose of Mondays a lot of the times is just generating liquidity for market makers to use later on. It's super weak here. Yeah, whenever we see this where price, it gives, that confirmation that at least these stops are being bought up, but it's short-lived. A lot of times it's just showing that the overall narrative is still bearish. So if we fall down under this, and we'll see what the PM brings, but I'm not really digging today. Again, I just think that it's going to be down to this low, and that's kind of ruining the party, if you will. Not really ruining it, but you get what I mean. But pretty inefficient overall. I mean, price didn't even return to a premium of this move. Did come to this fair value gap, but didn't get anywhere close to a premium. So I don't think there was really any high probability sells as far as anything. I mean, you could have taken this, but as we looked back over, there wasn't really a clean entry. It kind of just hit that fair value gap. As soon as it gave a shift in market structure, it never turned back. So really wanted to see indices move up. They still might, but that was what I wanted to get a short opportunity, was at least something up in this area. I mean, at least the morning impulse move premium. Even these highs would be nice. Okay, so there's a gap at 3,700, crack it, and then up. Where is it? This thing down here. Yeah, potentially that could be an idea. I mean, if we got that far, I would just go for the lows. If anything, I could see a potential, maybe a move down here, maybe into like this imbalance, and then come down and take the lows. Something along those lines. I think whenever we're looking at this from the bigger picture, the external structure is clearly fucking bearish, and we came back to a premium. We cleaned out a lot of internal liquidity, these highs, and then this fair value gap. So we've mitigated that. So now we look for price to come down and clean out all this. It's not going to just be one straight shot. I mean, it kind of has been in a way, but you'll see this right here. We take out a low, bear market rally, mitigation, push down. So you could see something of that nature under this low, potentially, because everybody's going to want to short right here. It's going to be really close to these lows. It comes up, cleans out all the shorts, back to it. And then whenever you see these entry models that usually, if the day was bullish, for instance, you got that market structure shift under the old low. I don't know what, that's the fib. And, price is failing to really show much action. If it comes back down and just continues lower, then I'll probably just chill on the day. As for Bitcoin, and again, once we have this kind of just this mess, it's better, in my opinion, sometimes to just let everything clean up a little bit. Or at least, like for me, I want to at least, if I'm going to do anything, I want to do it with this move. And I would like to do it from, well, actually, Bitcoin did come to a premium. I guess I was just sleeping on it. That breaker entry might have been the move. For if indices can come up into this area, that'd be just amazing, because we could get a nice little short opportunity. Been using this for or not this one, a darker rectangle for the fair value gap. Yeah, so the 4 hour, to be honest, this is just me personally. I don't really use the 4 hour a whole lot for indices. I mean, it's a good what's it called? A good time frame. Sorry, I was reading something. But for indices, for me, I like the intraday time frames, and then just the daily better. But I just like the daily because you can see the open and close gaps. Yeah, another thing I wanted to go over was this week's power of 3 on the weekly time frame. You see, we came up early it's pretty choppy because we had news. We came up on Tuesday and put that high of the weekend, just like we've talked about quite a few times now. Or what we're anticipating, who knows? Maybe we blast all this today and tomorrow, but something in me doubts that will happen. But we move violently away from that weekly open, usually around Wednesday, which we did with the high impact news driver. And then we shouldn't see a return back to it. But I mean, there's no, nothing is ever for certain. But that's why I was really liking this zone for potential shorts, because we'd come up, clean out all these early shorts, which we still could do. It's showing some strength here now. But, I think a lot of people are shorting, especially once we break down. Everybody's going to short down here. There's a lot of selling. People are getting stopped out of their long. So that gives, institutions an opportunity potentially, if they need to buy, to bring price back up here and then take it down. I just try to look at things like, if one was trying to manipulate the market, what would they do? And that's what I see. But who knows? Maybe they don't even need to push it back up here. That's all based off of that. And you can go to the 1 hour. It's like, okay, well, that fair value gap is mitigated. So, it's like the POIs and the premium. I mean, if DXY was going to continue down, this is where it would be doing it. This is the kind of action I want to see on indices. We move efficiently, and then I'm actually curious. Does this even have? I wonder if I can even use this on here. No, it won't. I didn't think it would. I'm interested to see how this plays out, though. Somebody said, what is the possibility of a double bottom for Bitcoin? I mean, it could happen, but then it's just going to get ran later because it's just going to induce people to think that we're bullish. I could definitely see that. I mean, that's what we did on the weekly here. If you look right here, double bottom, that's why I want that to get ran. So it would actually be like a triple bottom if you're looking at the weekly chart, but I would rather that get liquidated because people that trade retail are going to look at double bottoms as a buying opportunity or support. So there's going to be stop losses there. There's going to be people that are also looking to short the breakout if we start to break down from that. So, I mean, who knows? It's possible, but if we do, I'll just look to wait to short it. I wouldn't buy it. Okay, NQ is getting some movement. Pump it. I really would like this power of 3 to play out. There we go. I was losing faith in you, NQ. Are you still in, Algo? Are you in here? I don't know if you're in here or not.
I think he just scalped it.
Oh, true. Are you in this?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, it was there for a second. Yeah, I like that displacement though. It's weird to come during lunch hour. I've been noticing a lot of times during lunch hour we get those like random ass pumps like that. Ideally, originally I wanted these high. That's where my target overall is, but I mean, I'm definitely would take some here. And this is what it did the other day. I can't remember if I shared this with you guys, but dude, I got so absolutely like just disrespected by fucking Nas the other day. I can't even here. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. I was talking to my boy about it because I've deleted the TA. Hold on 1 second. Where is this shit? Oh yeah, look at this. This was so bad, bro. I was like, this was the worst I've been violated in a really long time. So look at this, guys. So I had this right here, right? I had this limit. I had a limit right here at this fair value gap. This was the PM session of, it doesn't say what day. I think it was Tuesday. Yeah, I think it was Tuesday. So I had this limit right here for that fair value gap, and it didn't hit it. And I was like, oh, fuck, man. I was like, I guess it's what, because I looked and it hit the 3-minute fair value gap. I was like, hey, fuck it, charge it to the books. So, you know, it's already painful to see that happen. And then I cancel my limit, right? So I cancel my limit, and then this happens. Hold on, where is it? 1 second. I go back later and say, fuck, to my boy. This is what it did after. Came right to my limit, went to full TP in 3 minutes. So, yeah, that's how my Tuesday went. I was almost, it was like meme worthy. I couldn't even be mad. Like I was kind of sad at first, but then I was literally just like, bro, that is like, you just got fucking memed by NASDAQ. Added, don't cancel limits till your TP's hit to my rule set on that note. Somebody said DXY is at the volume imbalance created earlier. Talking about this right here. I mean, I agree. If I was looking at this, you know, I mean, we are above a daily high. I wouldn't really necessarily call it a raid, but this looks like it wants to go a little lower. But DXY kind of has a mind of its own. Also, you got to take into account that this was this dump happened very early this morning, so I'm not sure what was the catalyst to that. Money was getting moved around. Oh, I'm just now seeing where you said Jordan said trading the 5 minute short. Oh yeah, hit your target. There you go. Yeah, ES and NQ have been kind of like in their own lanes recently. Like they've been a lot of SMT divergence lately. I've noticed more than usual on the lower time frame. Oh, excuse me. On like the 15-minute, I've seen a lot. Like I think there was like 2 times this week. Back over here, ES made a higher high, and NQ did not, which could have led to potential shorts on ES, or you know, aligned with other TA that you could say, okay, well this higher high is most likely a run on stops, which it definitely was. It came straight down to the sell stops. And right back into that imbalance at the that was clean. I mean, I wasn't really watching indices as that happened. I wasn't trying to really trade anything, but it's actually really clean. It came and took the stops, went right up to the last bit of internal liquidity in the range, and then took out the external immediately. That's kind of what I want to happen here, because we took the sell stops out. Now I want us to take the early internal buy side liquidity and then go back up into these imbalances. There was actually a little opportunity on the NASDAQ this morning that I noticed right at open. I've noticed sometimes whenever there's not an entry in the daytime, like the morning session, that oftentimes it gives an entry in the first 3 5-minute candles. So for instance, here, if we look at the overall structure was pretty bearish. We hadn't came to a premium, but price had shown the desire to go lower. And what I mean by that is it showed on the lower time frames displacement of the downside, run on stops, displacement of the downside. So when I was watching the 5-minute, I wanted to take a short, but it's just not really my entry model. But I looked at this like, okay, breakdown, and then price had dug up into these fair value gaps right here. So I wanted to take a short, but I didn't just because it's not really my entry model, but it would have hit. I was just going to target there. But now looking back, that would have been the target. That would have been a nice move, but I didn't take it. I'm going to continue to watch these models. I try not to stray away from anything really, because when I'm in this funded, I used to trade a lot of different stuff. Like I would trade, confirmations of order blocks, this and that. And now I really just try to play liquidity raids only, because that's how I pass the challenge. So I look at it like that's how I should trade the funded account. Because when in the early days of the funded account, I caught myself wanting to trade like other entry models, and then I kind of recognized like, hey, you're just like looking for trades. You know what I mean? And like any of you guys who've been trading for a while knows what that leads to. Like as soon as you start like trying to like force a trade, or you're just in that mode where you're just like in front of the screen and you're just scanning. And if you look hard enough, there's enough pairs. I even caught myself like looking at like GJ and like other random pairs that I've traded them before, but I don't really trade them recently. I'm like, what are you doing? So then I tried to really define my edge and only trade one thing. But I did like that PA right there. That would have been a clean entry as well. And yeah, it's just confirming that 15-minute. I guess actually now that we look back, because we were talking about there wasn't an entry here. Looking at the 5-minute, there kind of was. I don't know if it came to a premium of this little move or not. No, it didn't. Pretty inefficient across the board, to be honest. If it moves from this could be an order block, but I wouldn't bet the farm on it. It's a nice little live study. That the reason I look at it is this candle did take some liquidity right there, but it's not the prettiest. Doesn't really seem like it's showing much strength. This price action is super chopped this morning, though. It is after FOMC day, so you got to kind of give the market a little bit of slack to be fickle. Oh, okay. You're talking about the volume gap created yesterday, not the. You did say volume gap. I'm sorry. I was looking at a fair value gap. I said, how long did it take me to become consistently profitable? When I started really like trading and not just investing was during the 2020 bull run, was when I was actively like trading every single day, and I was blessed. So I was actually pretty profitable at first, but that was in part because I was trading crypto during the crypto bull run. You know what I mean? So then there were times like, after back in early 2021 where kind of reality hit and like the Valentine's Day crash, and everything started getting different, or longs weren't working, and this, you know what I mean? So there was like a time there where it was kind of choppy. But stayed pretty consistent throughout the summer. We actually did really well in the summer of 2021 in Playbit, like super, super well. But like to where like consistently profitable enough to where it's like a job, and I look at it like that, I would say probably like right around that time, like summer 2021. He said October. Yeah, let's hope so. There's this part of me that would make sense to. There's this small part of me that just wants like some crazy shit. Like when I look at the monthly charts, you go to like an NQ, just a regular one, or ES, we'll do ES. When I look at the monthly charts, I look at that as a potential monthly order block because, if you go back to the video that I have on here on YouTube, that we called literally all of this right here. Like we even made a video about it, talked about how to use the treasury bond market, everything. Now, again, I'm not saying we have to hit that, but we did hit this order block and react. So but that would be the ultimate meme. I just think it's kind of far off, just based off of the recent economic data and announcements. But I mean, you never know. I mean, I don't really trade off news. I do try to keep it in mind. A massive rally would be pretty crazy, but I mean, it would meme the fuck out of everybody. That's for sure. And that's what the market likes to do a lot of the time. Seems like by my MetaTrader, NQ is reacting a little bit nice off that order block. We'll see. Nothing really too attention grabbing there, but yeah, super choppy morning. It's not the greatest price action. Yeah, one thing I will say that's helped me a lot in trading less or taking less opportunities on indices, because I think that, like, for instance, in the ICT model, a lot of people misunderstand, and like they'll look at this right there, they'll say that's a rate on a low. And I mean, here's the thing. I mean, it gives you the entry model for sure if you're looking at it like that. So we come under the low, little 3 drive, or I guess multiple drives, and then that displays a break of structure. Fair value gap. Right? I mean, that's the model, right? I mean, I can see how that would happen. But one thing I will say is it's very important to understand how liquidity is delivered, and that's from internal liquidity to external liquidity. So, for instance, if you see a violent if the overall external structure is bearish, right, which we know it is, right, massive move down. So this is going to be your major pool of buy-side liquidity, and you had your sell-side liquidity here. So if price comes up into forms of internal liquidity and sees that reaction, you can use the lower time frames to kind of confirm that. And it sees that reaction, for instance, up here. Okay, well, you're in that internal liquidity area, which is a fair value gap. You get a displace or break a structure down. There we go. It's showing that strength I want. So, then what happens? Leave that little tiny gap. Right? So now in the lower time frames, the structure has shifted bearish, right? So you're on the just like we're looking at this, we have this range, right? So here's our external liquidity. We've got our internal liquidity all through here. So then price comes up into a potential reversal zone. Then we look at the next time frame down. So we get that shift in structure. It's showing us that it wants to go lower. It's leaving those imbalances, right? Price comes down. It forms this little range. Guess what it leaves? Highs and imbalances at a premium. Price sweeps those highs and then moves to the downside. So that tells us, when we're looking at the higher time frame, that we're probably seeking the sell side. Right? And then also take it into kind of building your narrative. This is the way I looked at it this morning was, okay, well, every retail trader wants to go long. They're going to look at the support, right? And then some people, even trading smart money, might say, oh, it's an order block, this, and that. But the way I look at it is, everybody who's going to buy the dip on FOMC is going to put their stop loss right fucking there. Like, where else are you going to put it? Tell me. Pretty obvious place. I don't want to have my stop somewhere like that. It just doesn't meet up with what you know what I mean? So whenever you see something like that and you see price reacting to that internal liquidity, showing displacement away from it, it's showing the desire that it wants to go for something lower, right? Is there going to be a ton of sell stops here? Think about it. how many people really got an active here that are going to put their stops there? Most of the time, people are going to put their stops right there. So you got to think about that whenever you're navigating the market. Of you got to think like a market maker. If I'm a market maker and I have a lot of orders here that I didn't have liquidity to fill, that's why price gapped, because only one side of liquidity was being offered. Well, I need to get back up there. I need to fill those orders. So how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to induce people to short. And then, sorry, I had to change something. My monitor. And then after that, I'm going to take out the early longs. Now, I wouldn't necessarily target longs all the way up here, but that's the kind of narrative I see playing out. Hopefully that helps some of you guys. I think that was a decent example we have here. Because and one thing that when I first started learning how to trade with just liquidity, I don't really watch a bunch of supply and demand zones. The main problem people have is they look at every single low or every single like high, as a stop rate and this and that. But you have to understand the way that price is delivered and why price is doing what it's doing. You don't need to just know like, is there liquidity above each one of these highs? Yeah, sure. Right. But like, is there enough to send it all the way to where you want it to go? A lot of times, not really.
Casper, I fell victim to that first setup you pointed out.
Which one?
This morning.
Oh, did it? Yeah, and I can see it for sure. So like, the way that did that help though? Like the way I explained it help at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was thinking about it just like in the way that you spoke about it as a more of a external liquidity instead of internal. After it happened, of course. I mean, I was up for like 5-6 minutes, but then
Right. No, it makes sense. I can see it because I was watching it and like I literally was like, I mean, there was a part of me that wants to take it. You know what I'm saying? Like I was kind of like, and then I'm like, don't like, because I literally posted in stock chat. And another thing you could look at this as a lower time frame is a little market maker buy model. But I posted in stock chat that I was like waiting for that, and I'm like, what do you like? Don't do that. Like you were just like, you know what I mean? So this is super weird price action. Needs to get back above this high with some strength. That's showing a little bit of lackluster movement here, but it's just not the greatest morning. So I wouldn't be too upset about it. I know you're not, but I can see how that happened though. I was watching and I was like, I already know there's a ton of people who just took a loss right there. But again, it just comes to that understanding of the range we're in. If you're day trading, try to use a 1 hour, 15-minute to establish that external range. Keep in mind the higher time frames, but whenever you're like, looking for, and I'm not saying you have to wait for the absolute low to be rated every time. Like for instance, let's say if we were bullish, right? Like if this was bullish and you rated low like that, absolutely, that'd be fine because we're taking taking internal to external. Price travels from premium to discount and discount to premium, from internal liquidity to external liquidity to internal liquidity. So always remember that.
Yo, Casper, what's up?
What's up? How you doing?
Fine, good. Any reason why aren't trading US30?
I just don't like the way it moves. It's personal.
Because I'm long, but I noticed that
It looked good this morning,
US.
though. I watched it. I did watch it. I'll say.
Yeah, I'm long there, but I noticed that I didn't run the lows, right?
So that's another. A lot of times you get a lot of weird divergence. Like for instance, like you could see that ES and NQ did, and then YM didn't. Which YM's US30. It's just the futures contract. I personally just don't like it for reasons like this. But You know, if you've traded a lot, and I know a lot of people that like swear by it. You know what I mean? Like there's people that I know it's like a popular thing to trade. I don't know. I think it trades better with like supply and demand than the other indices. I will say that. Like for instance, like you can get trade opportunities off like 4-hour POIs sometimes, which are 1-hour POIs. You know, which with the other indices, you know, that always just gets ran. I think that's why it's a little more popular. Like for instance, like right here, there's a nice order block sell. You know what I mean? Like it's just you can literally trade that a lot more efficiently than you can. Like if you try to do that a lot of times on the lower time frames with ES and NQ, you'll get ransacked. But if you trade it and it works well, don't change. Like that's the reason I had to realize like that this is all I want to look at because this is what I do well with. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you know, I looked at my when I passed my challenge, I looked and I had traded. What's funny, in my second challenge, I traded gold, which I don't know what got into me or like why, but I was trading gold a lot. And I think it was like my most traded asset, like MFF said on my phase 2, which blew my, because I didn't even realize how much I was trading. I was like, what in the fuck? I don't even trade gold. But I just liked where it was at on the higher time frames because it was back whenever gold was, it had such a clear fucking bias to me, at least. It was back when gold was like up here. So I was like, you know, I knew I wanted to sell short. It was just like, you know, where am I going to do it? It was just so fucking clear based off that daily time frame. You know, up here, I was like, so I was just shorting all down through this. But I had to realize, like, you know, there's a couple pairs that I personally trade better than others. So I try to trade those pairs. Then I realized, okay, well, there's a couple times of day that I trade better than others. Okay, so I cut out the other times of day. You know, then I'm like, okay, well, there's another trade model that I do better. You know, see what I'm saying? So I just keep refining that edge and fine tuning it to where it's like, I won't take as many trades, but I know that, you know, the strategy that I'm using, which strategy is more than just your analysis. It's the time, it's the pair, it's, you know, everything together. That's your strategy. So I think the less variables, the better, because if that strategy starts to fail you, a lot of times it's you failing the strategy. But if the strategy starts to fail you, it's easier to mitigate and change what you need to if there's less variables. And also it provides for less rationalization whenever you're looking for a trade. Like, you know exactly what you're looking for. And if you get that, you execute. And if you don't, you sit. You know, you enter a trade, you follow your trade management. You know, either you're getting stopped out, or maybe if you have a break-even stop policy, everything becomes mechanical. The only thing that is a little bit more intuitive sometimes is building a narrative. I think, like for instance, when we're talking about, you know, where is a stop loss going to be for traders, that can becomes a little bit different than, you know, that's not something that's as mechanical. That's the only thing that, you know, I notice is more difficult to make mechanical. Yeah, not the most interesting morning though. I really do think a lot of it is due to ES just wanting this low. I did want to move back up first. I wonder what this gap is. Actually, no, this already has been filled. What am I talking about? That wick filled it. Hopefully see something pick up coming out of the lunch hour. Super sloppy price action. This is crazy. Just up, down, frozen. Yeah. ES has barely even left a 5-minute inefficiency except right there today. I mean, the open. But other than that. And again, on ES, that was pretty clean too here. Up here as well. First 5 minutes moves into it. This one barely did. Oh, it did actually. hard to see. People say fair value gaps don't work. So he said, do I like moving average? No, absolutely not. I would never. I encourage people not to use stuff like that. If you use it and you're profitable, fuck me then, for sure. I'm not telling you to change anything. That's another thing that I really fucking hate whenever people that trade smart money like shit on people that don't trade smart money. Now, for shitting on people at all is just kind of fucked up, but especially when it's like, okay, friend, I know some people that trade retail that are way better than people I know trading smart money. So just because you trade smart money doesn't mean you're like a king or something like that. Here's the thing, we're here to make money. So, I know a lot of people who trade smart money that I'm pretty sure aren't profitable. And I also know a lot of people that trade retail that I know are profitable. So, everybody's different strategies. And if you're, I'm never going to tell somebody to stop using something that's profitable. But if you're using them and you're not profitable, I would suggest to start trying to learn price action. Because I think everybody goes through this period when they start trading. They go through a phase where they just like trade a lot of indicator. I went through it. Like I did not start trading smart money. Those of you guys that are in Playbit listeners that have been here for a while, 100% know that too. So I used to trade something called Omni, which is an algorithm. The max level of indicators. My screen looked fucking horrendous. I had fucking probably 20 levels on my screen. And it worked well. You know what I mean? So that's why I don't really hate on people that trade something, and I just respect it. If that's what you trade, then and you're profitable, and stick with it. But I will say that learning price action has been more beneficial for me. That's why I stick with it. And the main thing that I like about it is I'm a very like mechanical person. If that like I try to track my habits every day. Like I'm a numbers guy. You know what I mean? So I like trying to make things as mechanical and clockwork as possible. If I'm using a moving average or RSI or a pattern, it's like, oh, it's oversold, and it's kind of moving away from the 21, and it looks like potential ascending triangle. I'm gonna buy it. Like there's nothing mechanical. If you fuck up there, you have nothing to go back on and be like, where did I fuck up? You know what I mean? Now, if you have a strategy, like for instance, you're like, okay, well, every time, the 9 EMA crosses the 21 and I have an RSI divergence on the daily chart, then I go long. That's something that's pretty mechanical, So, again, just if you do trade indicators, just try to make it as mechanical as possible. Be my advice. Not financial advice. NFA. Clean these shorts out, Nas. Pump it for me so I can not trade tomorrow. Reward me for being patient. Let's see how she goes after lunch. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, go ahead, shoot them off. Otherwise, I'm gonna hop off. What's up, Mikey? How you doing? Kind of like XRP? Definitely. Oops, wrong thing. Okay. I said fuck the equal highs. When isn't there like an like a core update? Let's see when it is. Seems like everything about this fucking court case is just smoke and mirrors. Like you never know anything for sure. Good old Reddit will probably bring us the info. Oh, this is 2 years ago. Okay, I give up. I thought there was something this week. I don't want to spew misinformation, but I thought there was something this week. I will say right now, though, as of like legit all crypto, I think XRP has one of the better charts. So I said XRP will flip ETH. Ooh, you know, you never know. ETH is kind of a shit. I don't want to say a shit coin. Obviously, it's not a shit coin. I don't like the proof of stake. I think it just centralizes it to the max. And yeah, sure, it might make for less gas fees on fucking NFT transactions, but it's not decentralized anymore. So I think that it kind of takes some good value away from it. But XRP monthly looks fucking ridiculous. I mean, not monthly, week. Monthly probably looks good too. Let me look at the Bitstamp chart. Yeah, Haas, that's basically what I have too. What you just sent me. Okay, delete all this. I mean, dude, this shit looks fire. If I wasn't so skeptical of the economy, I would probably buy some of this on spot, or would have down here. We've been talking about this for quite a while now. Also, another thing I want to share with you guys. Oh, it's too nice because my blue screen's getting bluer. Push up. Do it. No, but now I want to show you guys this. This is just interesting. So it's XRP dominance of the market, but like this even looks fire. Let me do the weekly. Like, bro, if I'm looking at this and you just didn't tell me what it was, I'm like, this is going for this high right here, which would be nuts. I mean, that could come with XRP even just holding its ground in the market shitting, but I don't know, man. There's something going on right now with XRP. Like, it's definitely being manipulated. No question. I think the weekly chart, I mean, the way I look at it, little baby imbalance right here. I'm sure you guys see. I'm not going to draw it, but little baby imbalance. The weekly is showing displacement. Like if you close this week, anything like this, oh my god. If you close a candle above that, that's strong. Where's Sir Trades a lot? He's not in here. This dude's gonna be fucking rich. He's been telling everybody to buy XRP for a minute now. I think it's probably drawing up into this imbalance. And the thing is, though, I will say, just don't let me like make you a moon boy. I don't mean to sound like it's just going to the moon, but it does look very good. But be mindful, you are coming right up into this imbalance. So if you close anywhere around here, I would look for probably a push up into this, but then I would look for a retracement. I mean, hopefully you can form a fair value gap going into it. So I said QNT. That's crazy. These are the two coins that I have people close to me that love these fucking coins. And they're smart people. Like these people that really like quant are some Swiss bankers that they love this shit. They asked me to do TA on it. And it's funny, I actually hit it on the point. Like when we were down here, I told them, I was like, it's going to go right to this imbalance. That'd be a potential reversal. And I've never like given them analysis. That was the first, they were like, oh my God. I didn't think, I was like, I was surprised it reacted like that well, but they were like, give us more TA. I mean, I'd say the overall narrative would be, bearish here. I mean, I would look probably for these highs to get ran. I think that's why I had that. Or did it get ran? No. I mean, I would look for these highs to potentially get ran. But then you could maybe see some short action after that. Down to this would be like the next target. And when I have these marked to sell side, I know some messengers like, that's not a sell side. This is, and I know, I promise I get it. I know it's not the external, but there is going to be internal sell side liquidity. I just don't ride it every time. I'll have to start riding it. So I get the Twitter warriors telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, anyways, guys, for quant, sum it up, I would just wait. You're kind of at equilibrium in this massive range. So expect to see this kind of consolidation. I would wait till you come up to a premium. then look for sell signals. Because you really don't have anything that I see that needs to get cleaned out before coming down for all this to wipe all this out. And again, it's just ranges. Like we have the external range, this massive movement right here. All right, so we've taken out all the internal at a premium. So remember, price trends from external liquidity, traveled to external, took out that, just like we're talking about in that lower time frame range with NASDAQ and S&P. All the early dip buyers got taken out. Now price is going to come back up and take out all the buy side. Right, then after that, we've generated sell side here, inefficiencies here. So wait for price to come up, give you a target. You don't just get in, but wait for something to give you an entry, and then there you go. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna hop it off. Actually, ADA, I'll do ADA for you. That's the last one I'm doing now. ADA played pretty nicely what I wanted it to do. I had a paper trade, didn't get all the way to full TP, and then FOMC took it out. I wanted it to go all the way up here, though, this daily order block. I could still see that happening, too. Let me show you this. The daily chart. So we took out this low right here, and also all this down up here. So on the 4 hour, look as a potential range deviation. Extend this to make it a little clearer. So if we can get back up in this range, I would look for at least a move up to this daily order block. Show you on the daily. The down candle. Up candle before the down move. Overall would be a little more more bullish on XRP. Again, this shit has just completely destroyed price action for right now and a lot of stuff, especially a lot of altcoins, but anyways, guys, I appreciate you all coming through, and until tomorrow, stay safe. Tomorrow we'll be doing an afternoon stream, kind of recap the week, see how we did on the bias, and just recap all the price action and see what we can learn from it. So until then, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.